Hello and a warm welcome to this week's episode of The Real Talk Show, the 27th of September in 2024. Super excited for what we are about to engage into. Last week we strived to bring an interesting episode, which we did. Faith Malambo and I were here and we had an interesting conversation. And I'm looking forward to us, delving deep into something a little bit different. But remember that the Real Talk Show is about the welfare of young people, and that is what we are about to discuss. Now, before I get to introduce our guests, I'm your host, Ika Kapambo. And a little background about our topic for today is that a week or two ago, the collision against illicit alcohol was hosted. It was launched, rather. This means that conversations around this particular topic will be held even here on the Real Talk Show because Youth Platform is one of the organizations that have partnered with the Collision Against Illicit Alcohol to make sure that this conversation is taken even further. And I'm proud to announce that our guest for today, Taitu, the legendary, I love to call him the legendary Taitu, was part of the event and is currently standing as brand ambassador for that particular coalition. He'll be telling us more about that. But before we get to him, allow me to introduce my co-host for today, Faith Malambo, the one and only. Good afternoon, and how are you doing?
Good afternoon. Thank you, Iga. I'm doing very well. Thank you, and good afternoon to our viewers. Once again, thank you for joining us for this beautiful and exciting episode on The Real Talk. And today, like always, we bring you a very unique topic, just like Iga did mention. And today, we're going to be diving down into a topic which is education versus enforcement. Which one is more effective in combating illicit alcohol? So, with that, Iga, back to you. Taitu, I don't like the fact that you're too serious, Meman Tushua. Please give us a smile. I know I said no smiles for dimples here, but please.
I follow instructions. You told me not to smile, so I'm giving you that serious look. Yeah.
What we talked about behind should remain behind closed doors. Don't bring our problems in front of people.
People need to understand why I look different. I'm threatened right now.
Not my fault.
Too. Are you as excited as me? I saw Liverpool winning against West Ham, a whole 5-1. What was your highlight of the week? How are you doing?
I think I'm good. I'm excited for soccer lovers. Unfortunately, I have failed to connect with that. Otherwise, my week has been good. Obviously, working on. Well, I'm done with my new album, and I'm just looking forward to letting people listen to what's coming. Otherwise, yeah, I'm good.
Most definitely. And well, I mentioned earlier, I hinted earlier that you are now brand ambassador of the coalition against illicit alcohol. I think maybe
Yes.
take us through that and how's that coming up and what inspired you to take on this role and just address conversations around illicit alcohol.
Well, I think when I met Honorable Kalila, he's the co-chair with there's another lady from Kenya, um, Professor Sidibe, something like that. Yes, Professor Sidibe, and you know, it was by the youth in Daba where after I did my performance and I said a few words to the young people that were there, of which Honorable Kalila asked to see me away from the audience. So we had a conversation. He ran me through what he's been doing concerning young people, and yeah. So when he talked about the coalition against illicit alcohol, looking at what's going on in society and how so many young people have been drinking this junta thing and they have access to this alcohol that's messing up their futures and stuff. So it was something that was more like automatic for me to just want to be part of, because if I'm advocating for young people to really take responsibility with their behavior, to watch what they do, be it the drugs, be it the alcohol, be it the partying, the social media, just behavior. I just felt like this is something that I need to be a part of. Looking at what we discussed last time, also with the Indaba, looking at the rate of infection when it comes to young people with HIV/AIDS, the STIs, the unwanted pregnancies, just everything concerning young people. So this was just something that is in me already. So the moment you just mentioned it, I was like, you know what? I'm in. Let's do this. At least now I have this bigger platform to also speak out and also add to what I've been feeling all these years. Like there's more to this gift I've been given. So I align it with my purpose on this earth, and at least empty myself into a lot of young people, and share a lot of knowledge from my experience, the do's and don'ts to certain things, and the things I found myself doing and got out of, and God's grace, I still have life. So I figured it's important to do something for that person that's alive, so that they make wise choices. So young people something that really, I wake up every day feeling like I'm doing something that's positive out there and influencing change.
Faith, you're muted.
All right, so the first thing that got to my head was when Taito mentioned my album is out. Please, where can we find?
No, Faith, don't rush. I said I am done with the album and you're gonna hear it soon. I didn't say it's out.
Done is for our guys, our month, and
Facts.
maybe I'm like a step ahead, but anyway, in my head, it's already released. Now, to my interest, Taito, it is of a very big concern, but I would love to probably understand how best this issue can be addressed. Education versus enforcement, and then looking at the amount of alcohol and consumption that these guys are doing, like the young ones. I'm not excluded from that. What really could be the cause? In fact, a 12-year-old these days, there are no types of alcohol. Is it even
Yeah.
right? Eager, 12 years old, 11, and sometimes I'm finding myself around young people, and when they start expressing the alcohols that they know, the cocktails that they know, and I'm like, okay, where have we gone wrong? Like, where exactly is the bridge when it comes to this issue? Iga, what's your thought about that? Even as Taito gets to help us understand this, because now he's a brand ambassador, and would love to know how best can this thing be combated. How do we get to the root cause of this and just understand to say, okay, I'm a kid, this I can do, this I can't do?
Now you even confused me. I don't know whether that question is going to Taitu or me.
It's for
It's
you.
But
coming to you. Taito just answered, and now I'm asking you because him now is the
okay,
brand ambassador, and then he he's got it. Like probably he understands more than we do. But then when it comes to you as a person, what is your personal view when it comes to how much we young people are abusing alcohol?
all right. So I'm going to start by firstly mentioning that for some people, it's because they've grown up around people who they've seen drink alcohol. I've seen it happen, and my dad and all of that. And then I'll come to the other reason, which a lot of us young people have to use. A lot of us. When I say a lot of us, I mean like a lot of us. A lot of us like to say, I'm drinking this to relieve my stress. I'm trying to forget my problems. Um, I'm trying to just feel a little bit better. And then other people just do it for fun. But it, it's it just becomes problematic when every single time you want to have fun, you have to drink. Like you can't do it any other way. I met someone who said something very interesting. They said, drink when you are relaxed. Do not drink to relax. So, because the reality is that every now and then we are we are stressed. So it's like every single time you have some form of stress, you're going to want to drink. And then for some people, it's peer pressure. They maybe go to school because the reality, for example, for me, I watched it happen. I saw my friends start drinking alcohol when we were just in grade 10. I never knew that the juice bottles that they were coming with used to have alcohol. And sadly, I used to try and behave like them, but I didn't know that for them they were doping, at that point. So it's like me who was sober trying to play with people who actually used to drink. So there was that gap. And then, so in a situation where you have people that are drinking and you're close to them, they're friends, there's always this pressure of wanting to behave like them. So and that's one of the greatest contributors for young people drinking alcohol excessively. it's peer pressure. You meet people who started drinking 5 years ago. For you, you're just starting. You want to match up with them. So there's all of those factors. So ultimately, I think those are some of the reasons or things that lead to the excessive intake of alcohol among young people.
Oh yeah. Now, from what you just said, Iga, I picked out something on a few of factors that can lead to alcohol abuse. You said most people go with a notion of saying, "I want to relieve stress," and now when it comes to a young person, this is somebody who's 12, hey, and then they say, "I'm stressed. I need to drink it up." Like, has alcohol really helped get rid of the state, or has it really just basically made the young people get more addicted to it and always take it as often as now countless times? Taitu, what is your thought about that? The excuse of "I'm stressed, let me just drink." Is it really helpful? Because I feel that that's the excuse we have. A little breakup, you're in grade 8, you're in grade 10. Oh my God, I've been dumped and it's in alcohol. I'm like, but why? Why are you running to alcohol? Is it really helpful? Is it a good way to go, like, because I'm stressed, let me drink? And then you're a young person. And then it's like you are literally just starting up your life. Is it a good idea to relieve stress with a bottle of alcohol? In fact, not even one, six pack, you won't say aqua.
First response, it's a very, very bad idea because it might seem like a solution, but the fact is, once you take that alcohol, it's just a temporal thing. You end up feeling as if you're on top of the world and everything is sorted in that moment. But the moment you sober up, the problem is back. Those emotions are back. So taking that drink does not sort out anything. It actually ends up in a situation where now alcohol becomes the go-to whenever you feel stressed, you can't handle school, you feel any form of pressure from whatever, not even just relationship, you start going to alcohol. In the process, the stuff after that, as time goes on, your mental, you have, what's that word again? It's gone, but I remember it. We talk about mental health, and if we look at it today, research actually has it that most of the situations that are going on within the community, let's say the GBV, the health issues, um, the violence that is out there, not just on gender-based violence, but just behavior out there, it's stemming from the alcohol use as well. So for a young person, you find that your future is ruined. Next thing, you can't study, you can't focus in class, you become so violent towards your fellow students. I had a conversation with some students some time back, and they were pointing out that they have certain friends who don't even go to school anymore. Now imagine you just have, like the example you gave, you're in grade 8, you have a little breakup, you start taking the junta thing and you think it's a solution. Next thing, you can't even focus, your life is ruined. So it's no and no and no. Alcohol is not the answer. It will ruin you. Because even when we say drink responsibly, some people, that word, they don't even know what that means. Because sometimes alcohol has that thing to want to pull you in, keep taking more and more. You find that in that coolness, or having that alcohol as a go-to, your body now becomes reliant on that. You can't do anything, you can't function. Without taking it. I'll give an example of people in the industry, in the music industry. There's some people who can't step on stage without taking a drink. There's some people who can't step on stage without smoking something. And already that should give you a sign to say, this has damaged my body, because now my body is not meant to function this way. But because of the prolonged use, I've just ruined a lot of things. So it's a big no.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a few comments to our viewers who have just been following. Maybe we read out a few comments and then we come back, we throw it back to Iga. Our comments, our comments. All right, so this is Miriam Tawanga Tembo saying following from Kitwe. Thank you so much, Miriam. This name, let me just focus on the Philemon Piri. Philemon is saying following from Lilongwe, Malawi. Well, thank you so much, all the way from Malawi. Nyundo Catherine, just tuned from Kuala Lumpur. Litumezi wa Hulu. Is that how you say it?
Ahulu.
Hulu. Yo, they'll be beaten. I'm watching from Kazungula. Thank you so much. That's Jerry Titus. Watching from Livingstone, Tinashe Chisenga. Thank you, Livingstone. Okay. Now, before I throw it back to Iga, as we get into another part of our conversation, Title and Iga, guys, one of the things that I have noticed about young people and just a concern from the education aspect as well as the environment is most of the times we have focused on HIV prevention, early pregnancies, and many other. But for a few times, have I heard a focus on alcohol abuse when it comes to schools? Probably it is something that when you go to school, teachers are punishing young ones. Hey, we're going to punish you, no, sweep here, or this one you have been expelled because you're drinking. But then at the end of the day, if this person is going to school, they are drunk, or maybe you've noticed they're coming with a bottle, like Iga did mention. And these are things that are happening even up to now. You get, children are going to school drunk, others are carrying those alcohol, whatever. But then what is it that the school can do differently when it comes to the education sector, aside from punishing these children and expelling them from school? How then can they be helped? Because it's obvious that these things are happening. So what is it that you feel should be done when it comes to helping the young people in the education sector at schools where they are mostly found?
From the top of my head, I think obviously we live in a society where a lot of times what's appealing the most is a brutal response to things like that. But I believe it's not always a solution, because even in the home, if a child does something wrong and your response is the belt, sometimes they'll feel the pain. They will not do it because they understand why they're being whipped, but they won't do it because they think you're going to beat them, which is a wrong approach. So I think an understanding as to why they shouldn't involve themselves in that is the core thing. The moment you have a sit down and explain the dangers of what that might lead to,
Okay.
what it is important for the teachers to bring out that information. That's how come we there as coalition. That's why we as well involve. You know, there are all these projects that the schools get to get into, and this the coalition has the school outreach program where you educate young people and talk about the dangers of using illicit alcohol and whatever alcohol in any case. You know, so it is important to bring out every information, identify what the kids are into, the things that affect them the most, and be part of it. It's only when you get down to their level that's when you can actually combat and hit the nail on the head as to exactly what's making them go to certain vices. I think I'll end there for now.
Wait, is Iga here? Oh, okay. Mm,
Faith,
guys, okay. Iga,
yes, Faith, I'm here. Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. I think I would like to concur with what Daitu has just said. Um, she has talked about how a lot of young people. Mainly for me, my contribution is that a lot of young people are curious at a certain age. You mentioned especially uh, secondary school going children.
Yeah,
And this curiosity at very different ages. For some, it will start at 11, for some, it will start at 12, and they want to experience all sorts of things at that particular age. So um,
that's true.
sometimes they indulge in some of these activities without fully knowing what is it that is happening, but they are very much eager, pun intended, to experience the thought of drinking. drinking alcohol and being part of a certain group. So I think it would really help
Yeah.
and be very helpful. The school being the one social institution from which, when we go there, most of the time we take what we are told as gospel truth.
Mm.
Teachers, um, parents have a role to play in the equation, and that is by making us see the dangers of involving ourselves or
Your
indulging
connection
in
is
Oh.
killing us.
excessive alcohol intake. So,
I can hear you now.
can you hear me?
I can, but you disappeared for a bit. Title, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. I think Iga is frozen,
Okay.
if that's the right way to use. All right. So Iga did mention, I don't know if he has really concluded with his statement, but I think he took us to the third point of our conversation, which is involving parents and the community at large. What role do parents, teachers, and community leaders play
Yeah.
in educating young people about the dangers of illicit alcohol, or we can put it as alcohol abuse? I feel I'm going to pose this back to you, Taitu. Oh, Iga, you're back. Did you conclude?
Oh yes. So I was basically just about to. I was basically about to say that they have a role to play, and what we are looking forward to seeing is parents and teachers holding hands in creating initiatives that would help educate young people, help educate school-going children, but also they should
I think you guys having trouble with the network.
also
Oh,
hold
yeah.
hands. They could possibly hold hands in being role models. Am I
Okay.
back?
But in it's not yet stable. I don't know, maybe if you could try to make it a little bit stable.
I
But
think
from
also
what
just to
Iga
add
was
on what
yeah.
just to add on what Ego was saying, I think it's very important to always build relationships, because if you identify that student that has found himself, for example, he's been spotted with a bottle, spotted engaging or hanging out with certain individuals that seem to be creating that bad influence on the student or anybody out there in the community, it's important to have that relationship, because the moment somebody feels their approach is more like on a judgmental type of approach, they always get defensive. So when you sit somebody down and really explain why they shouldn't engage themselves in those behaviors, engage themselves in certain situations, you find that the result is you'd actually score 100 points with that person. They'll actually see the sense in it and start educating other people over the same. I took a trip
Yeah.
in North Mid at some point, and I was speaking to some certain guys. They usually wash people's vehicles there, and I know for a fact that they
Mm,
drink that. So I called a few and had a conversation, asked them why they take it, and most of them just said, you know what, I don't really have a reason, but this thing is cheap, it's accessible, and we just felt like we want to hang out, and we can buy it from anywhere, you know. If if I can spend 5 kwacha and a friend of mine 5 kwacha, we get a bottle and we are high, and that's it. But then when I ask them, does this help you in any way? What does it do for you? Do you gain anything from it? To my shock, the response was, in fact, I'm trying to quit. If I could get somebody to tell me what this thing is doing, because I've seen the effects, I get violent, and my family is also complaining because I've been behaving differently. So I'm really looking forward to a center or something like that that can assist me to stop taking this, because it's really bad out there. So a lot of people who are engaging in all these things, they really want to stop taking this junta. They really want to stop,
yeah.
but they don't know who to turn to. So it's important as a community to be part of it and just raise this awareness. Wherever you are, you can just share. You see somebody involved in things like this, you just open up and say, look here, I'm not approaching you or talking about this in judgment or anything like that. But I've been where you are, because this thing can ruin you. It will kill you. It will ruin your judgment. It will ruin your family. It will make you violent. And you end up being in prison at the end of the day. And I don't think you want to do that. So when you talk to them at that level, you find that you impact change, because that humanity comes in and they feel important as well.
That's true. That's very true. And just to add on what you have said and probably what Ika said earlier, I feel like also it's high time that as community, as parents and as teachers, for as long as you're in a space where you are seeing a child or a teenager or any person is struggling with this alcohol abuse, it would be very nice of us to take it upon ourselves and just reach out to this person rather than being all
Exactly.
judgmental.
Yeah.
Most of the times I feel like we are more on the judging side and we are more on the like seeing these people like they are not a part of us. Look at the junkies that we have in our country, just not even going very far. Has anybody ever taken time, space in their own time to just think what made this person a junkie? Because these people are people who have been exposed to drugs, they live a reckless life, they drink and for them it's normal. They are sniffing things that even a human, I don't know, like a normal body would literally shut down if they were to take it. But the question is, what what made them get to that point that somebody can sniff this? Can you imagine sniffing? Is it glue? What is that they sniff? You meet street kids
I think
today, you meet them and they're, what do you call that?
Bostic is a Bostic or something, some glue stuff, and they just sniff that.
And then this is somebody's child. Imagine having to think about it, this could have been my child. So I feel it's high time, like community individuals, for as long as you are in that space, let's stop being judgmental and have a heart of helping like you did. I think that's why you are an ambassador type too. If I was near you, I was going to buy you chocolate or ice cream since it's hot. Like you calling out, you calling out that group of people and just having that conversation. I feel like it keeps you enlightened, even to penetrate to them and have a
Yeah.
conversation. Then you know how best to handle them and even to help them. So I think on today's show, what we are spreading out on one of the many things that might be spoken is let's not be judgmental. Let's reach out to one another. It doesn't matter. Other people, I think we have a mentality of ujamwana wa banaonongeka inewanga sininga mulekelele. You know what I mean? Forgetting
Yeah.
that if you are a mother, that could have been your child too.
That could have been
So
your
let's
child.
take it upon ourselves. You know? So guys, you're smart people. I'll be coming for lectures, I think. Iga, you are back now. Do you have any words?
Yes, Faith, I'm back. And I think that we are trying to like sort of draw a comparison between the education aspect of it and the enforcement aspect.
Yeah.
And by enforcement, we are basically trying to talk about maybe certain agencies that could be working hand in hand with maybe agencies such as the police. Let me just be straightforward and say maybe the police that could be trying to combat this issue. We could also have the Drug Enforcement Commission also working against excessive intake of alcohol. So maybe my question would be that if we are saying this is what is best working, like this is what we think we could do about it, how then do these agencies come in and how can they collaborate with the community to combat the excessive intake of alcohol? Faith, you're from talking, so maybe I'll take it back to that too. When you speak, Faith, maybe I'll also add my thoughts since it's a conversation.
We've been talking too much.
Yes,
You went
please.
offline, Ika.
No, no, I think this one is best for you, Taiku, because as an ambassador, how do you think you can
Yeah.
collaborate with the law enforcement agencies?
Yeah.
I think in every area, it is important to identify the local authority that, because again, willingness is everything. There can be a local authority, but then find a few people who just, yeah, they will look at it and not really put that much effort. But you need to identify agencies that have individuals that are willing to actually take this up. Because I mean, I know for a fact people have been crying out and complaining about the behavior of certain young people they've seen in their communities. And yeah, I'll be very blunt and honest. Nothing has really happened. I live in a certain area and I know of a lot of little spots that have popped up, and I've seen these little drinks everywhere. And you find that sometimes when I'm heading home, there'll be a lot of drunk young people on the road. Like you really have to exercise patience when you're driving there because you might just hit a person. And I always wonder, do these people have a license to trade in whatever? Obviously, they will not get any license for trading in that. But then you find that it's been reported over and over to the authorities that are within the area to, do something. And you find that a few weeks, it'll seem like it's closed, and then all of a sudden it's open again. So within the local authorities that are there, it's important to identify a few people, educate the few also to see what damage, to what extent this thing is doing that in their communities, and then just build that for a sec. We know a certain area is prone to certain robberies, and then neighbors will just say, "Look here, let's form this neighborhood watch." So
Yeah.
with law enforcement, and they can say, okay, people, we are in this section. If you're complaining about this, let's identify a few people from that community who can form this, so that give us the information that we need to get, so we know how to tackle this. Report to us whenever these things pop up, and you find that you're working hand in hand with the local agencies, the local communities, and all of it, and that will help out, I think.
Well, that's very, but I don't know if it's just me. Please don't get me arrested. When it comes to law enforcement, and in this case, are we talking about the police or any other?
Are we talking about?
The police or any other?
Now the thing is, I don't know. No, no, you were not there by the launch of the coalition itself. Even the vice president
Mm,
mentioned something to say, look, a lot of people will say, Boma Yanganepo, Boma Yanganepo. The thing is, the government would do what it can to a certain level. I'm putting police
yeah,
in there as well. That's government as well. Because
yeah,
if the community is not waking up to say, hey, I'm from McKinney, I'm from Rodspark, I'm from I'm from Northmead and whatever, and there's this thing happening, because it's something that's affecting everybody. Sometimes some of these things are going on under the radar, where police will not even have an eye, but you that's in the community can see what's going on, and you are very aware of what's happening. So it's a joint thing. It's not just Boma or just police or whatever. The community, like we've been saying, everybody must raise their hand and say no to this thing, because it's ruining our people, it's ruining our country. Look at the tiny people that are
that's true.
growing up and looking up to certain siblings in the families. So if one is already affected by that, what do you think will happen to the young person? They'll
It's a
obviously think
string. Yeah,
that's the cool vibe that's going on. Iga
yeah,
mentioned
that's true.
something earlier on to say he was hanging out with people, and next thing they having their drinks, they're having their thing. That's the in thing. That's the cool thing. No, you can have fun without getting high. You can have fun without engaging in something that's gonna kill you in the long run. So it's
That's true.
an everybody problem. Everybody must be involved, because illicit alcohol is killing us. That's what it is. It's killing us.
That's true.
So everybody must be involved.
Wow, it's just you and me now. Iga is gone. So at this point, I'll act the host and you'll be my guest. So you're going to have it back to back tattoo. Well, to our viewers who are following us, please keep stayed tuned and keep conversating, and obviously engage in today's conversation. If you have any contribution or comment, feel free to drop it down in our comment section and be able to read and just hear your opinion on what you have to say about today's topic. Obviously, it's education versus enforcement. Which one is more effective in combating illicit alcohol? You can literally relate this with your community. How is the alcohol abuse going around there with young people, your children? Are you happy with it? What do you think can be done differently? Let's talk about this as young people, because we are the ones that are affected. With that said, I have a comment here. Let me just read this one. This one is from Blessing Chilese. Yes, that's very true. TYP, really important message. Thank you so much. And
TYP.
please, if you have, which one is what? Oh, die too. Sorry, guys. Die 2 has well elaborated. Hey, guys. Die 2 has well elaborated following the discussion from Western Province. This one is Songi. So well, thank you so much for those comments. Please keep them coming. We have a few minutes, if not 9 minutes, before we get to wind up with our show. So if you have a burning issue on what you feel could be done differently in addressing this issue of illicit alcohol and just getting done with it and stop judging each other, because obviously this thing has destroyed dreams. This
Yeah,
thing has destroyed ambitions. This thing has
definitely.
destroyed a whole lot, because I feel like the more you are on the more you are taking this alcohol, you get addicted and you don't have any other. Sometimes, is it just me, or I feel like you have no urge to push to be better, but you have the desire to be around people that are drinking as early as 6? A 15-year-old is sitting at
Yep.
Chichibuko. Is that fair?
There was a
Is that
time I
and
went
Ida,
to.
welcome back.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Faith,
There was a time I went to pick up a
thank you so
friend from
much.
a certain neighborhood, and
mm,
I parked in front of this gate. Next thing I saw a group of about six teenagers in uniform, and it looked like normal, like yeah, they're just from school and stuff. Then they sat in front of somebody's gate. Next thing they kept on passing this. I remember that yellow bottle. It looked like juice to me. Like, oh, maybe you carry some juice and all of this. But the way they were passing on
yeah,
that bottle, I even knew there was something else in there, and I believe it was the same little bottles that I dislike. And it didn't take long. You just noticed weird behavior. Next thing, they're rolling all over somebody's lawn. I even knew they were drinking. So imagine at that age. And as I looking at the time, I figured these guys probably
that's
dodged
true.
class and decided to go and have a drink. And after that, lessons missed. Now, you know what happens after that? If that thing is really speaking to them loudly, they find themselves engaging in things they shouldn't. Next thing, there's pregnancy. Next thing, there's STIs. There's all these things coming up. It's really crazy. As you mentioned also, 6 a.m. somebody will be drunk. And when you have conversations with, like, it's an evacuee. The other day, I put a comment on my page where I said, say no to junta. I had a backlash from a few individuals, which didn't make sense. And I was trying to educate them to say, why would you say I should talk about things that I have no idea about? I'm a person who's coming from a background where I took a lot of drinks. A lot of drinks, when I say a lot of drinks. And but when you think of it, there's complications. Fortunately, I came out of that thing without really getting any crazy disease or anything like that. But I could see, like, alcohol behaves like it's got a voice. It'll keep on calling for more and more and more, and everything that you shouldn't do becomes the cool thing to do. A lot of people have died. I have buried a lot of my friends because of alcohol. A lot of families have lost loved ones. Families have been broken. So this just, I don't even know what to call it, because I think we've given it a lot of words, but say no to it. That's my biggest message right now.
Wow,
Junta.
that's one. Now, Iga, you were gone, Junta. Iga, you were gone. So before now, Taitu gets to. Okay,
Oh no.
all
Oh
right.
boy.
Faith,
Yeah,
We lost you
Vika,
for a
this one
minute.
I want to hear your thoughts on this. In your own opinion, which approach is more effective in combating illicit alcohol consumption? Is it education or enforcement, and why? After you, then Title can take it up.
thank you so much, Faith. I'll be very quick, seeing how my network is behaving. But I think that
I
it would be
got you.
nice. It would be nice for us to take an approach where we synergize these two methods, because they both have um, a unique way of improving the lives of young people and how they are relating with the said junta. And that is because, first of all, awareness has to be very, very wide. A lot of us need to know that is happening. A lot of us need to know what are the effects. How could this what would be the result of me excessively taking alcohol, for instance. And once that education has been done, there's now these young people who are being adversely affected, those that were probably not caught by the wave of education. That's when now the law enforcement agencies and all these other agencies that are working in this space could come in and just hold hands with the communities, the parents. And I must make mention that when I talk about education, I don't just mean parents at home. Teachers also have a role to play. Taitu has talked about taking the approach of relating as opposed to judging. That is very, very important. And also, most importantly, behavioral, behavioral, what would I call it? Let me say it this way: being examples in terms of behavior. I say this because once I attended secondary school, and we had teachers who could not stand in front of us without taking alcohol. You know what I mean? Sometimes you've never seen your teacher for a week, you try and look around for them, you find that they've been spending their days in bars. So what does that say? You know, it says something to that young person that might not be careful. So it's important. I think I basically would approach for a method where we incorporate the two and make one thing. But most importantly, awareness first. Let's do our very best to be on the ground and teach our colleagues. And we must not wait for you to have a wide audience like Taitu to become brand ambassador for you to start this conversation. Start from the one, two people. That way, you're making impact on the lives of people, and you never know just which life you are going to save at the end of the day. As I'm concluding, I'd also like to flag that this alcohol is also affecting young people adversely in the way that it's affecting their productivity. You find that maybe on a Friday or Thursday or Wednesday evening, I could have sat and done something productive academically, or a friend had a meeting with colleagues over something that a business that we can run, a business idea, a business proposal, a project that we can run, which we would rather meet and drink, get drunk, and wake up tomorrow and start feeling our hangover. So, yeah, for me, seeing how my network is behaving, I think this might be my last comment. Thank you so much, Faith, and next time.
Thank you so much, Iga. I don't like the fact that you're ditching me like that. Title, over to you. Before we wind up, I think we have a few minutes. I think about 3 minutes.
I like borrowing words from the Bible every time. Um, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. If you do not tell them, or if nobody tells them, how will they know? All that is from the Bible. And to link it with what we're talking about right now, if nobody speaks about the dangers of illicit alcohol, how is somebody going to affect change? Like I said, if you see something going wrong and then you jump in and just want to enforce and just be brutal about it, it can work out of fear. But that is short term. The moment you're not looking, what will that person do? They're back at it. And now they'll even put people to keep watch. When you see faith showing up, tell us so we can pretend everything is fine. But then if you sit somebody down and educate them and teach them, because then you have a brain that's like a gold mine, because that message will go on to many people, because whoever that person that you've educated about this will pass on that message. You find that even if today Taitu is no longer active, Taitu is sleeping, and one plays this video, because of this thing that I'm talking about, one can still get from it and pass it on to so many people. So I believe education is the biggest one, because it works out in the long run. People will just use it over and over. Whatever was said a long time ago will still play today. Look at us. There are things that somebody out there once said many years ago. We don't even know what they looked like. But here we are applying the same concepts to our lives, and we benefit from it. So it's the same thing. But then if you hear that 10 people were bitten because of this, how is it going to affect you today? You're not getting bitten. You just hear that happened, but it's not touching you. But if there's a story that was told, there was points that were given, there were facts that were given, one will apply them to their life and say, hey, I cannot do this because I know the dangers. Next thing, I'll get home and say, my brother, my sister, uncle, dad, mom, you cannot do this because this will ruin us. This will ruin the next generation. This will create so much damage out there. So education is the best way to go. So many people need to advocate, need to speak, need to be educated. That's come. We here, we don't know everything at the end of the day. Faith doesn't know everything. Ego doesn't know everything, but we exchange ideas. So we see how we can handle this whole situation, educate as many people as possible. So whoever is watching, I know Faith didn't ask me to do this, but whoever is watching, please take this message out there and share it with so many people. Educate them. We know some people that are watching also love their drink, but drink responsibly. There are companies out there that are making this funny stuff that you don't even know what percentage or whatever goes in there. You just take it, you feel good. That thing is killing you. There's some things that are on the market right now that are legal and you can take them, but the same legal things can still harm you if you abuse them. So whatever it is comes down to taking responsibility and just doing things in moderation. Focus on what's good, what's going to save that next person that is next to you, that sibling, that's uncle, that's family. Yeah, all of it. I think I will end there.
Well, thank you so much. Was that like your last words, Title?
Last words. I think it's important for well, I always have things to say. You can't ask me to say last words. My last words would be, I think there should be other that are watching that would want to partner. There's a page for the coalition on Facebook. You can join that page. The flag and crying for, you know, what can I call it? Funding and just helping out in whatever way to make this easy, because this message is bigger than Title, bigger than all of us who are active right now. But the whole country needs to be educated about this. The whole world, in fact, because this is affecting a lot of people worldwide. So let's do whatever we can and just shout, say no to Junta, say no to all these things that will kill us in the future. I think I am
All right.
there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Saidu. Well, once again, is thank you so much to all our viewers that followed us on today's episode of The Real Talk. And today we're talking about education and enforcement. Which one is more effective in combating illicit alcohol? And of course, you would agree with me to say our communities are not in the best of places when it comes to alcohol abuse with the young people. But the message for today, on top of what Iga has said, what Taitu has said, for me, my own is, guys, let's look out for one another. Let's not judge another person's children and say simwana wanga, but let's act as, concerned members of the community, concerned parents. Remember, when you're a parent, you're not a parent only to your children, but to anyone that you're going to see out there. So let's not be so judgmental, but let's bring one another together and see how best we can help each other in fighting this illicit alcohol abuse among the young people. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Join us next week again at some time at the same place. It was me, your host, Faith Malambo and Iga Kapambwe, and of course our sign language interpreter, Memories Zulu, and our very own guest, Tai Chu, the representative and ambassador of TYP. For now, it's good afternoon and enjoy the rest of the day.